Good day, everyone. My name is Tia Yusuf from Indonesia Prima, Indonesia. I will be moderator for the first panel in the first ICSD Women Entrepreneur Global Conference 2020 with a panel subject is Mompreneurs, how to successfully combine family life with entrepreneurial action. Mompreneur is neologism defined as a female business owner who is actively balancing the role of mom and the role of entrepreneur. Mompreneurs are a relatively new trend in entrepreneurship and have to come to increase prominence in the internet age like today. First of all, for the panelists, thank you for supporting this event and joining us here. Mbak Ria Sarwono, co-founder Cotton in Indonesia. Selamat malam, Mbak Ria. Sudah hadir? Are you there, Mbak Ria? Okay. Then we have Jonis Coimberetere, founder of Expertise, France and Brazil. Good day, Jonis.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hi, good morning. Fine, you?
Good morning.
Good
And
morning.
also we have Rania Atef, founder of I Make This from Egypt.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, good afternoon, Rania. And we have also Kathy Corman Frey, founder of Hot Mamas Project from USA. Are you there,
Hi,
Kathy?
everybody. Hi, yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, good.
Okay, great.
Okay, please, we would like to hear your sharing now. Each panelist will have 10 minutes presentation. Then we will continue with Q&A after all panelists finish their presentation. So please, the audience can write the question and to whom you pointed that question. Then I'll pick and read later. Okay, the first, Miss Ria Sarwono. Please go first. Yeah, you can go
Hi,
first,
good
Mbak
morning.
Ria. Selamat malam.
Selamat malam, good evening, good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
It's already 9 at night in Indonesia, but okay. Thank you for having me here. I'm Ria Sarwono. I'm the founder and also the CMO of Cotton Inc. It's an honor for me to be in the same webinar with all of you guys, women entrepreneur, and to share my experience. And I would like also to hear your experience too about how we thrive and survive as a mompreneur. I will share my presentation, I guess, Mbak Dia.
Yeah, please.
Well, I think there's a little bit problem, so I'll just continue. Okay, so I will tell a little bit story about my background. I'm from Indonesia. I'm a wife and also mom of 3 beautiful kids now. I see myself as a person, as a woman with different roles. So in Indonesia, people know me as a founder of Cotton Inc.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if you want to try again.
Okay.
Yeah, please make a co-host. Yeah.
There's no option for sharing.
In the middle, there's no option to share screen in the middle?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead then, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So what is Cotton Inc? Cotton Inc is a fashion brand for Indonesian women, which I founded with my partner 12 years ago, Carlin, when we just finished our study in university. And back then we didn't have any expectation at all with the brand itself and what our life will be. But we have the same dream and same vision that our brand will be one of the top fashion brand in Indonesia one day. We start our journey 12 years ago from a Facebook and Blogspot page, And in a decade, we grew into a well-known fashion brand who have strong presence in social media, marketplaces, and not only that, right now we have 5 offline stores in big shopping malls in Jakarta, Indonesia. In 12 years, not only Kanan Ing as a brand grow, but also me and Carlin as an individual, as a business partner, also grow. We grew from young women into who we are right now, which is we are now a wife and we're now a mom. A lot of challenge appears along with our growth, but for me, the most challenging one is time management. As I said earlier before, I see myself as a person with different roles. So I need time for every role that I have to fit. And for me, it is still challenging. But I also learned the more we know our priorities, the easier. Oh, thank you, Lydia. But I also learned the more we know our priorities, the easier managing time will be. So I would say choose your priority, your urgent task and schedule, and also your daily routine. It will be a bit boring, but sure, it will help you a lot. And
you can say next to me. I will operate.
Okay, next, Media. Okay, so this is my fashion brand that I founded with my partner, Carlin. So basically, we are friends since secondary high school. So we've been friends for about 18 years. So yeah, Thailand is a Indonesian ready-to-wear fashion brand from Indonesia who have strong presence in social media, marketplaces, and also in shopping malls in Jakarta. Next. So tips for mompreneurs. I always believe that we have to easy to ourselves because we are not competing with others. I believe we only competing with yourself, with ourselves. So the only competition is with you and only you to be a better version every day. Always remember that neighbor's grass is always look greener, but you are somebody's neighbors too. Okay, the next one is acknowledge if you need support or help from your business partner or your team or even your family member. As I said before, we are a women who have different roles. Maybe you're a wife, you're a mom, you are somebody's sisters, you're somebody's daughter. So if you need a help or if you need the support, just tell because it's normal. And the last one is listen to your body. If you're listen to your body and energy, listen when you're feeling low and tired. Just simply stop and get rest because sometimes I don't know if anyone sometimes feels like me, but when you work, you want to get all those things like done in like right now, but sometimes it just can't. Sometimes some things need time to be done. So yeah, always listen to your body and energy. And I remember Oprah Winfrey once said, on my own, I will just create. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, I will create something else. I don't have any limitations on what I think or I could do or be. So for women, mompreneur out there, it might be sound cheesy, but please believe in yourself because you can do it. Thank you.
Thank you. So amazing experience. What I like in Cotton Ink, and that's why I invite Miss Ria Sarwono is they do the business with her best friend, which sometimes it's really hard, yeah, to do for other women. What I know is woman and woman sometimes if they are getting together, it's really hard. But that's why I want to learn. You want to learn from
there's
her.
a lot of cat fight.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Okay, Maria. Wait. I would like to invite other panelists. Just stay here because
Okay.
we have a question and answer later. Okay, we go to the second panelist now. Please, Johannes, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Let me just share my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, all right, okay. First of all, thank you very much for this invitation. Thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this conference. I'm really very happy. So how can you be both mom and entrepreneur? So I'd like to just to share my my experience as well. I choose this picture with my little baby while time flies, really. It was 6 years ago, 6 months, and today she is 6 years. It's really amazing to see this picture. When I start to working with this presentation, it was really interesting to see that really time really flies when we are mom and entrepreneur. Let me just talk about a little bit my story, if I say like that. I was born in Brazil. I've been living here in France for 10 years. Before being an entrepreneur, I worked in luxury hotel industry in São Paulo for 10 years around. And when I arrived in France, I really want to completely change my life, my personal and professional life, because I want as well to become a mom and work in a hotel industry. It's not really easy to do both job at once. And thanks to all this context, I decided to create my own business because it was a dream to be mom and to have my own activity. From the dream to the reality. The dream is because I was to create something that it's be connect to my personal life and to my why I am as a Brazilian, as a foreigner living abroad. Then I'd like to create something that would be connect with both countries, my country of adoption, France, and the country where I was born, Brazil. But quickly I saw the really a hard challenge to do it, because even even as a Brazilian and living abroad, to work, to create something and work as an entrepreneur in a main sector, if I say like that, main sector, because I create something, I create a company to help small and medium enterprise to develop their business abroad. And when I say a main sector, it's because I traveled a lot, sometimes twice or 3 times per year, and I spent almost 1 month and a half in Brazil, for example. Then I made sector because we move. Okay, every time I moved, every time. Then if you don't have the support, if I didn't have the support of my husband, it was not really possible to do it. When I created the company, I quickly saw that it was really a challenge, because in that time, had no network to create a business without a network, being a foreigner, because it was 8 years ago, then just 2 years after being started here in France. Then I had no network, and you know that it's very important to have a network to create the business, and no market research or any experience about the market or any experience in this domain, international marketing. Even if before I had to work with different nationalities, it's not really the same to do it in a kind of advisor, etc. So it was one of the question every time when I launched my business that French people ask me, are you self-confident? Every time. And then I really, at that time, I didn't understand why this question, because in fact, in Brazil, where I was born, the issue concerning self-confidence you have, because in the Brazilian culture, people must be confident. Okay, when we are a child, when you are a little girl, a little boy, you learn people in the school, our teachers, our family teach us to be confident. You must do it. And when I arrived in France, I already an adult. It was really complicated to me to understand and ask myself, am I confident? Because in my mind, I was confident. It was something that was really not easy to me to understand what is confidence, because I believe in myself that I normally, if I say like that, normally I work on this um, issue as a confident person. And when you say, yes, I am confident, yes, because we can be confident, even if you know that's not really easy, but with some hard work. Say hard work because not really easy to leave your baby, your child to move when you would like to work international market. Focus because, when we want to have both as a dream, create a business and in the same time to be a mom, then that if you don't have focus, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, you'll be a little bit you can be lost during your research. And the motivation, it's incredible, because if you don't have the motivation, really the maximum, if you don't looking for inside yourself for your strength, it's not be really easy to continue and do what you want, because motivation is really the key when we are mom and entrepreneur at once. And that time I I saw that I was someone, a resilient person, because right now I'm starting my research, try to understand about resilience. And I can see that that time I was already someone, a resilient person, because if you don't have resilience, if you are not a resilient person, it'll be not easy to continue, okay, to do it, to work. Yes, you can. Then I want to create expertise to help French and Brazilian companies to export both markets and provide some service to facilitate the penetration of both countries, both companies in both markets. I think there I have 10 minutes. I did this slide, some timeline with my, so 2000 I arrived in France, 2010, 11. Then just 1 year after, I graduate in a master degree, because in France, when we have our diploma that's not really from the country, we cannot work, not really, or you can not open your company. Then as I did, and I graduated in a master degree in international trade in France as well, because in Brazil I got a master degree in general management. 2013 I created the company. 2014 I gave birth to my little babe Alice, 6 years old today. In 2015, I spent time and developed the company, I created the company. They have 1 year, in fact, after I didn't really work on it. And after 2016, 15, I developed the company. When I say develop the company, because I work again with the offer, I worked again with what I'm provide. I try really to focus more market, etc. I try to develop my network. That was very important. I travel a lot between France and Brazil. It was really crucial this moment. And then when you say that, I left my babe for several times at home with my husband to do it, because it was not really possible to do it alone. Just to finish, 5 tips, if I can just provide some tips to my to the mom that want to succeed. Believe in yourself. I loved when Ria talked about it because of you, Ria, yes, you talked about it in your presentation. If you don't believe in yourself because you hear every time, you will not achieve, you're not able to do it, it's not really easy. If you don't believe that really will work, for sure will not work, then you must really believe in yourself. Motivation, even if you believe, if you don't, will not motivate to do it. For I think that you fail on your project. Be motivate. It's not easy because when we are mom, then you think that you have different roles to play as a mom, as wife, as entrepreneur. It's not really easy to be motivated, but it's important to do it in order to have success. Have some support. In my case, I had my husband's support every time. Every time when I remember twice, 3 times, sometimes 4 times, it is as I spent 2 months abroad. It was my husband that support me, okay, and just take care about our babe. Following some training, even if when I launched my company, my business, I didn't have the training specified, but right now I think it's interesting, it's important to have one without just launch yourself in this way without have any training concerning how to manage your business, how to conduct some negotiation, how to work with your offer, etc. Because if you don't do it, it'll be not really easy. You can be sometime a little bit, was my case, sometime a little bit lost on it, and develop and entertain your network. When you develop your network, you create, okay, try to be know by what you are doing, but it's important as well to entertain. It was really hard to me because when you say entertain, you leave your babe alone again, and you go to have to meet people, to exchange about your business, really to develop your portfolio of friends, portfolio of contacts. Because in my case that I work in service, it's very important to have a very huge network in order that people can really talk about you, your job, in order to get more clients and to be known in the market. That's all. I expect that I don't know. I try to do in the way just to exchange. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. This is a wonderful sharing. So we have already 3 tips from Ria and also 5 tips from Johnny. From Indonesia, then we go to France. Now let's continue to Egypt. Please welcome Rania Atef.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here and listening to all those amazing women entrepreneurs give us tips on how we can handle being both an entrepreneur and a mother, because I think actually those are 2 very difficult jobs. Like, one of the most difficult jobs is being a mom, and also one of the most demanding things is being an entrepreneur. So when you mix both, you've got a really tough situation. So it is not easy, but it's also really, really, really worth it. Both are really worth it because the value added you get from each of them is amazing. And so once you are able to actually maintain a balance, then it's perfect. It's a beautiful combination, but the balance is very tricky. So let me first tell you who I am and what I do and how I try to maintain that balance. So my name is Rania Atef, and I've created a platform called I Make This. And it's a platform actually that is supposed to help women entrepreneurs market their businesses for free. It's a platform that I actually created because I needed a platform to market my own service. I was a photographer, and I didn't find a platform where I can just, tell everyone what I make and get clients. So I checked with all my friends who were doing small businesses, and then basically what they said. Are you guys hearing me well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because it just said that my internet is unstable and I kind of like freaked out. But anyways, that's good that you hear me. So yeah, so basically I asked my friends who had small businesses and they said like they have the same struggle of reaching the right target market. And so the idea came straight to my head that I should just create a Facebook group where like I ask my friends to add their networks and we all add our networks to it. And then everyone starts telling this network, this bigger network, about what they make and their products and their small business. And they try marketing it for free. And so this is what we did. And in a matter of 3 months, the group expanded to 150K women. We've showcased more than 3,000 women and we've helped those women like boost their sales, increase their marketing. So so on that level, it was amazing because the value added was amazing, but my life was turned upside down as a mom because all of a sudden I woke up and I was working 24/7 and I have 3 kids. So this is the part I haven't talked about yet. I have 3 kids in very different stages. I have a 12-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So my mind was already exploding without that business, but with adding on it like the I make this, it exploded even more. So basically what I tried to do at that stage was try and keep that balance. But like I said,
sorry, Rania.
Yes.
Rania, I found I make this in the Facebook. Can I share this? Can I share?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you can.
I make this. It's not the page actually. I just add. It's the.
This one, right?
Actually, the page was created afterwards, but our main thing is the group. But unfortunately, it's a private group, so I don't think you'll be able to share on it now. But they can see the page. Yeah, actually, now the group we turned it into now an e-commerce platform where women can actually buy other women's products, and there's also like service providers. So either if you're like a woman who is a service provider or a maker like that does products that wants to sell, you can promote your services now on our e-commerce platform. So yeah, so if I go back to like me being all of a sudden put in a situation where I have to balance my life as a mom as opposed to like just being a mom, but also like having a business as well. So my biggest challenge was the fact that my kids all of a sudden felt that I wasn't there all the time, which was something that they're used to. So at a certain stage, I remember my daughter saying that I make this.
Wow.
And for me, I think that was one of the like most difficult things I've heard because I automatically realized that something was wrong, you know, like I wasn't maintaining that balance I need to maintain. So so I started like, you know, like thinking, what should I do? And I think now like we've reached a very good balance where I talk to my kids, like they know like the stage I'm in at my business, and the fact that when you're an entrepreneur, it's different than when you have like a 9-to-5 job. Like sometimes I'd have to do like some evening calls, or I'd have to like I don't know, go for a meeting, but then it's in the evening, and it's not the same. It's not the same like a 9-to-5 job. So the first thing I did was explain like what I do now and why I do it, and I had to explain also like the value added of why I've started this whole project. And I always show them like when someone says that it helped them a lot, so that they know that you know it's for a good cause. And I think that made a huge difference, of course, with the older one, because the younger ones would not understand that. But what I did with the younger ones was explain the fact that now when I have quality time with them, it would be just them. So I wouldn't be holding my phone, I wouldn't be doing all that kind of stuff that they would normally associate with me working. So and I think this is one of the most important things, but also the most difficult things when you're like an entrepreneur and a mother, is that you try and do both you practice mindfulness while doing both. So if you're sitting with your kids and you're allocating that time for your kids now, it's just them. You're just thinking about them, and you set aside everything else, that's all the ideas that are like, you know, blinking in your head and everything, and you just say, no, this time is for my kids, and that's it. And I think this was for me like the most difficult thing to do, like, because whenever I was working, I was always like also like thinking, oh my god, I forgot to buy this for my kid which he needed at school tomorrow. So it's that idea of you focusing on one thing when you're doing it. So the tip I want to give, just so that I don't like keep talking and talking, but I want to give like two like, because everyone else mentioned amazing tips and they're all very true, but two tips are really, really important for me. And the first one is, like I said, talk to your kids. So explain what you do, explain the nature of your work, say why it's different, and make sure that they like it, that they believe you should do it. So like for me, like I told you guys, like the first, like when my daughter said, I make this, I was like, oh my God. But now if you talk to her about it, like she'd tell you, I'm so proud of you that you do this. So I think by changing their perception, now she's actually proud rather than just feeling that she doesn't like it. So talk to your kids about what you do, explain. When you spend time with your kids, make sure that it's time that is really dedicated to your kids. So practice, because it's not going to be easy at the beginning. You're going to be sitting with them thinking about everything you need to do. Your to-do list is going to be running in your head. But this takes practice. So just keep practicing that. And the third tip is time management, which you talked about. But what really, really helps me is every morning I wake up and I have my to-do list for my family and for work. And I have them like on my notes on my phone, you know, like I have them and I have to click everything. Otherwise, I forget everything. So it has to be like for both, you know, not just like in the same document, you know, so that like I kind of see, because sometimes they're like overlapping. So like, for example, remember to make that call, remember to go buy something, but then go to that meeting and all that kind of stuff. So you need to like do it, you know, interchangeably. So those are like my 3 main tips. And I hope you guys find it useful. But at the end, it's just, I want to say that it's really, really rewarding. Both are super rewarding. I mean, being a mom is like a privilege, and also being an entrepreneur. There's just one myth about it, that some people do it because they want to be in control of their time. And that's a huge myth. So when you're an entrepreneur, you're actually like working most of the time. So, but otherwise, the rewards are amazing. You work and then you see that effect of your work, and it's just if you put your heart into it, then you get so many amazing things out of it. So, I wish everyone else like good luck, and I hope you find those tips useful.
Yeah, thank you, Rania. Don't go anywhere. I want to remind the participant, if you have a question, just please write in the Q&A. Thank you, Rania. It's a very inspiring presentation, like I mirroring myself, because as a mompreneur is like you say, I sometimes forget what we should do for our kids. Okay, and now we back to USA. How are you, Kathy? Kathy, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, we met last year in person in Taipei.
I know, that's right. We were hanging out in Taiwan a year ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now we meet virtually here.
That's right.
So, yeah. So please share your thoughts and experience.
Okay.
The floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me today. And I really loved hearing the other 3 panelists speak. I mean, this is right, the couple of the most important things in our lives, and how do you do it, right? And I know they're just hitting the tip of the iceberg, right? Because it's very complicated and there's always a lot of things that come up that you don't expect. And I think it's really important to have female and male mentors for the stuff you don't expect, right? You need to just go and ask, how do I do this? It's like a shortcut. So I feel like you all have acted as my mentors today and really shared some great tips and reminded me of some really important things. So thank you. All right, so I'll share my screen. Let's make sure I can do this. Okay, great. And can you guys see this, the PowerPoint? Yeah, thumbs up?
Good. Yes, good.
Okay, good. All right, so Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership is a class that I teach at the George Washington University School of Business, Department of Management. And so this is actually something that we talk a lot about in class. So I'll get to that in a second. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Hot Mamas Project. It's kind of a crazy name, but we have a very serious purpose. I started this as an ed tech and research venture about 11 years ago to provide access to role models and mentors virtually for girls and women around the world. And this is because access to role models and mentors is shown to increase the most important type of self-confidence related to success and goal attainment, and that's called self-efficacy. So let me just say that again, access to role models and mentors, even in the form of a case study. There's even some stories that show, a poster at the back of the room is linked to increased confidence. And we have worked with women with our cases and our classes, the content that I teach at GW. We've worked directly with women from 138 countries. So it's been a real privilege. And we've won some awards and we're pleased with that and very proud of that. But most importantly, it helps us know that if we're asking for the attention and the time of busy women, we better deliver the best. So that's what we try to do. We actually measurably increase self-efficacy with our cases and classes, AKA the success gene. So one of the things that I always start off any presentation with is, why do we care, right? Why do we care if we do well? Why do we care if women do well? And it's because women are actually one of the top growth economies. This is just one study showing that when you promote women to senior executive positions, that company is more profitable. This study has been replicated over and over and over again. Additionally, there's research about women on boards, female founders. It's countless studies and research showing that when you invest in women, your economy, whether it's your community, your company, or your country, grows. So investing in women creates more opportunities and more wealth for everybody. And that's why it's really important that on a broad level, a global level, we understand it's actually really important that we do well and we talk about these things and we figure it out. So in terms of my stuff, in terms of work-life solutions, one of the things that I was pretty shocked by is when the Hot Mamas Project did research a few years ago, and we asked women, successful women, we said, what's the most important thing for your success? And it wasn't like their fancy degrees or some amazing program they attended. It was support. It was support where they spend the most time, support at home and support at work. So I really explore that topic all the time. What does support look like for me? And here's what it doesn't look like. I first mentioned this in a presentation in 2009 to a group of people who all were like, yeah, I do this. And it's the most deadly words for women. I'll just do it myself. I really have to train myself out of that. You know how we do that, right? Oh, this would just be faster if I did it. And ultimately, you add more and more things to your to-do list when you do that. And when I say you, I mean me, because I really have to work hard on this every day, not to do things. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. Okay, so support at home. So the research shows that support at home and work is really important. So the first line of defense for me is my spouse, my husband, and my kids. We also have nearby family. I am from the Washington, D.C. area, and my family still lives here. And that's a huge support to me, as well as outsourcing and automating. So what that means is, you know, for example, my husband and I, we make time for each other. We really try to connect and maintain our relationship. Not only is that a great sense of support, but additionally, we don't just become roommates and talking about to-do lists all the time. So I don't know if you can tell, I'm actually like wearing some of my workout clothes here, and we're going on a walk after this. We go on a walk every Monday and Friday. It's on the calendar. It's how we start and end the week, and it's really nice. The second thing is that he is an ally. He's not against me. So he's an ally, he's not against me. So if I have to go through an extensive training, which I have recently to be trained as a coach, right? As an executive coach, which is an interest area of mine, he just handles it, right? He just gets it. He knows how everything works and he just handles it. Additionally, if I have to travel, like we were just talking about, I was in Taiwan at this time last year, he can just handle it. And I've got two kids. One is 17 and one is 14. So there are things that are easier once they're older because they're more independent. But at the same time, they're teenagers. So it's like a mental game right now. All of you with teenagers know this. When they're younger, it's a physical game. It's about containment, making sure they don't run into the street. And then when they're older, it's a mental game. It's hard to stay in front of them, but I do on good days with the help of my coffee. Yeah, I'm actually not kidding. Like, I'm not fully a human until I have my coffee. So then also my kids get it. And so, you know, like you heard from the other panelists, and I really agree with this about communicating with the kids. When I wanted to do my coaching training, which is many, many, many hours, I sat down with them. I actually put together a PowerPoint presentation and I showed it to them at dinner. And I said, this is why coaching is so important right now. And I talked to them about trends. And then I said, here is how much time it's going to take. I'm going to be busy a lot of weekends. What do you guys think of this? And we had a really interesting discussion about it. You know, they're smart kids. And so I got a lot of great feedback and I was communicating with them about it. Research also shows that working moms, we're a good role model for our kids, right? We want to raise good kids who aren't, you know, 50 years backwards thinking social norms have not changed. We want to show them what is the reality today. And as I say, raise the good ones. Also, something I'll talk about it a little bit real quickly at the end is I actually have chronic migraines. So this means every day I have pain, and it used to be a lot worse. But my kids are amazing with that. Not once did they ever make me feel bad for when I had to lie down and I couldn't drive them somewhere, because there were several years where I couldn't drive at night, or where I didn't feel good and I had to, I actually did go on a roller coaster with them with a migraine. So a lot of it is about meeting in the middle, but they've never once made me feel bad about that. And it just makes me proud of the kids that I've raised. So just remember, bad things happen, change happens, things you don't expect happen. But again, keeping in touch with your kids and communicating with them and letting them know how proud you are of the people they've become is fantastic. This doesn't mean they don't like sneak out of the house at night or have people over when you told them not to have people over when you're going out of town, but they're just still wonderful kids. And then I have nearby family, as I mentioned, and this is extremely comforting for me. It's not always common in the United States to have family nearby, and I do. So I consider myself very lucky. We're kind of old school. Support at work. Let me just go through this real quick so I don't go too over. I have mentors. So I ask, for instance, a friend of mine, Teresa Alfaro Daitner, how did you do this when you worked 30 hours a week, but you were managing your company, right? Because she managed to cram her schedule into 30 hours because she had 6 kids. And she teaches me her secret. So I'm always learning. Additionally, we have a results-oriented environment at my office. So this means we focus on the goal, not the hours. So when we're working with my teammates, our student fellows, we say, what is the end goal? And we back into that. and we focus on the end goal and when that is due, not how they're spending every hour of every day. That was absolutely necessary when we were working with people around the world. They're not all on the same time zone. And now with COVID, I think the US is a little catching up with some of that, which is focus on the goal, not the time, because then you'll be able to keep your workforce and keep everybody happy. Then another thing actually I do is I outsource a lot. So we have partners. For instance, there's a student run business called Social Current. They are our social media partner and are helping bring us into new forms of social media like TikTok. And it's not just for kids anymore. TikTok is everything, says Ashwath Narayandan, the founder of Social Current. So having partners like that lets me know things are happening and I'm bringing expertise in, and it doesn't have to be me learning and driving everything. Again, it's back to that philosophy of don't do it all yourself, rely on other people. And the last thing that I'll mention is just for people who are watching, who I don't talk about this a lot, actually. I don't talk about my migraines or the chronic pain and things like that. And I did mention it today when I was marketing this webinar, because this does have to do with the personal side of life. So basically, I need to have control over my schedule. Again, my migraines when they first started were every day and extremely severe. And I used to have to go to get IVs every day, IV medicine, because they were so hard to kill. It was very out of control. So having control over my schedule was very important to me. The second thing was planning, and I would be disappointed when sort of the old me expectations would come in. Oh, here's my goal. Here's the time I'm going to do it. And then constantly when my migraine started, I thought, I'm not doing it. I'm failing. And I just set myself up for disappointment. And I wasn't my own ally. I wasn't my own supporter. I was sort of against myself. So what I had to do was say, all right, how am I going to do things in a new way? And so instead of plan A, I had to have plan A, B, C, and D. If I didn't do it on Monday, then maybe I could do it on Wednesday. And if I didn't do it on Wednesday, maybe I could do it on Friday. And if I didn't do it on Friday, maybe I could do it over the weekend. And I had to have that because I had no control over my health. So I had to come up with many backup plans. And changing the expectations for myself is probably one of the most important things I did. Because one of the things that happens when you're achievement and goal oriented, right, is like, it's really good and it works for you until it doesn't, right? And we all know those times where we sort of change and it goes to the dark side and we're working too hard or we're too hard on ourselves. And so this did not work well for me with a chronic pain condition. And I really had to do a lot of thinking about that, a lot of work on that. It was very humbling. And then the last thing is medical advances. I know this just sounds insane, but a new class of medicine that was approved by the Federal Drug Administration here in the United States changed my life. So I had an amazing doctor. He was a researcher and he helped me try these different types of injectable drugs. I take a shot once a month and it's changed my life. For instance, we would not have met in Taiwan last year if I was not on this medicine. Like I would not be able to go. And so keeping track of that has really, really helped me. And so it's just out there for anybody who's struggling, or if something unexpected ever comes up, just remember, call me. I've been there. So thanks everybody. And I want you to be safe. And thanks for having me here today.
Thank you, Katie. It's really a remarkable speech, like I must say. Thank you.
Thanks.
But I just thinking to have a hot mamas in Indonesia too later. I'm not saying this. Okay. Let's not ruin the time. Thank you once again for our amazing, inspiring for the speaker, Ria Sarwono, Jonis Coimbritre, Rania Atef, and Hetty Corman-Frey. Okay, I want to go to the Q&A session now. I think we have a question from the audience. Okay. This is for all. Thank you. These tips are definitely important. Would like to ask the panelists about their survival kits at the beginning of the pandemic and how it has different today. Okay. Who will answer this first?
Sorry, what is the question? I'm looking for it on the feed, but I don't see it.
This is from Soroki in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you can answer this first, Kathy.
I'm looking for it.
Would like to ask the panelists about their survival kits at the beginning of the pandemic.
Their kids?
Survival kits.
I don't think sorry, I just.
So the question is, what's your survival kit? What do you do? What did you do?
Oh, survival kit, survival kit.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard.
I've actually thought a lot about this recently during COVID. It's sort of interesting that you ask this, and I call it my four-legged stool. What do I need to have as my foundation on the stool? What are the four legs of the stool or the chair so I can sit down and not fall over? Okay. And that is my health, right? Which has not always come easy to me for the last 10 years. My environment, I'm actually pretty sensitive to my environment, and it's important that I have a peaceful environment. And so I've always thought about that in terms of my house and where people are working in the house and just stuff like that. Number three is my relationship with my immediate family, with my husband and my kids. I think everybody knows this. When things are not good with your kids or your spouse, it's like not good at all. It's like putting a couple pieces of or drops of black dye into the water. It might just be a little thing, but it colors the whole water. So I work a lot on that with my kids and my husband. And then the last thing is my career. And when I feel motivated, when I feel proud of myself, when I'm happy with what I'm doing, that's the last part of my foundation. Now, it might have also included like social life and things outside my family, but just being in pain so much for the past 10 years, I really didn't have much of a social life. Like only now am I building back up my social life. So for other people, you may say, oh, that's really important to me, like my friends and my other relationships. And I agree with that. I just didn't have the option to have a big social life over the last 10 years. So that's my survival kit. If I don't have that, those four things, my chair falls over and I really can't get to anything else.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Miss Ria, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah. So the question is, would like to ask the panelists about their survival kits at the beginning of the pandemic and how it has differed today.
Well,
how
in terms of
yeah.
Yes, well, in terms of business, when the pandemic hit Indonesia at the first time, it was very hard for us since the shopping malls is closed during the lockdown. And then, so our revenue is down about 70%, our sales revenue. So the first thing that we do is we watch our cash flow and we also negotiate with the shopping malls. We ask them to tell them that we cannot pay the rental fee because, well, we don't have the sales to pay the rental fee for the shopping malls, right? And then since we're dealing with the suppliers and also all the third parties like the the fabric, no, the factory that sew our clothes. So we just doing the what is it? The term of payment. We negotiate in term of payment. So that's the first step that we did in terms of the business. And in terms of in family, since I have two kids, in one, the first one is 8 years old, and the second one is a 4-year-old. So the first one is a elementary, and the second one is a kindergarten. The third one is still baby. So I thankfully I don't have 3 kids with online class. It's the hardest part actually, because we need to stay with them 24/7, which I saw this as a actually blessing in disguise. If before the pandemic we can go to office like at night, and then we go back and then we can work, and then we go back to our home and then do stuff. But right now we have to 24/7 with them, and I must say that is so so
Yeah, I feel
but
you.
yeah, yes, but I still see this is like I said before, this is blessing in disguise. So yeah, I think I just try to reconnect with my kids and try to communicate with them that this is also hard time, not for you, but only but not only for you, but also for me. But as long as we can um, always communicate about this, and we hold our hands together, we can hopefully go this phase through. So yeah.
And it's already 8 months. As how different today, or still the same?
Yeah, it's still the same, because in Indonesia, I mean the bit in the term of business, the sorry to say, but the government is don't have like a strong opinion about how to handle the pandemic. So sometimes in terms of business, oh, you cannot open your shop, or you cannot open your restaurant, but in some other people can do other activity together. So I think the market is really sensitive about that. So when the government said that okay, we close the shopping malls, and then the sales is going down again, and it's bad again. So yeah, it's still uncertain here.
Yeah. Thank you, Ria. How about Jonis? Would you please to answer this also?
As Ria used to
Yes.
talking about, still uncertainty in your country. In France, the same uncertainty again. Here I see that the government they really played an important role, because they set up different strategies in order to counter COVID-19, but it's not really finished as everywhere. In terms of activity, I reduced 80% of my turnover, because international export, it's not really easy right now to do, mainly because we have a coronavirus issue, but we have as well a political issue between Brazil and France. It really can impact my business development, etc. But what I do is try to focus, keep with my motivation, and I focus really myself, my family. I focus myself what is essential to me, to my life, and I try really to keep on. This is the way as I'm living today.
Okay, thank you. Rania, will you answer this?
Yes. So I think when the pandemic hit, the most important thing was like for us to like stay safe, and to like comfort the kids that because their life was turned upside down, and they're kids, so it's mostly difficult for them. So I think the first part, but also your business, everyone's business model had to change, because so the change I think was too much for on all sides. And what we did was basically take it easy, like realize there's a pandemic and that, you know what, things are not going to be perfect because there's a pandemic in the whole world. So I think once I've accepted that, things started being like going a little bit more easy. We started for the business and for the community, we started thinking of how we can help during the pandemic. And the most important thing was to pivot, you know, like think of how you can do things differently now that there's this change. And also like with the kids, it was mostly like, you know, like everyone else around the world. I think it was one time when everyone was doing the exact same things around the world. Like you were like playing board games with your kids, or like at the beginning, like I think we all had those, like this cycle of like spending so much quality time with the kids for the first 2 weeks when we thought this was like just 2 weeks and it was a blessing, you know, and we now have like all the time in the world to spend with the kids. And then like it started moving more, and then we started being less enthusiastic about the quality time and wanting schools to go back, especially when it started looking like, oh my God, this online is going to continue for a little bit longer. And I think towards the end, and it was like before, like because summer here in Egypt luckily was quite good, like it felt like things were going back to normal a bit, so things started picking up, and I think eventually we'll just go back to our normal lives. But I think we've all learned from this experience. Like the most important thing like I've learned is that concept of you not being too rigid about anything. You need to be flexible, so that you need to tell yourself all the time that, you know what, we can do this in a different way, and you need to like keep reminding yourself of ways to reach the same cause but in a different way. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. I see that there is still many questions, but I will choose the last question for all because we are running out of time to the next panel. Okay, this is one question for all. How will you plan your business planning for the next year during this pandemic when you don't know what to expect?
Mm-hmm. I can do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can do that real quick because I also realized I didn't really answer the question about before and after from the last one. But two of the big changes have been my kids. I taught them how to clean their bathrooms very well. And, you know, the togetherness and those lessons were something we had to learn, but really appreciate that everybody was healthy. In terms of the business, I'm pivoting. And so we have, for instance, a number of classes that we do for the U.S. Department of State cultural exchange students. And that used to be in person. And now we've taken it all offline. Online, I should say. And so we use Teachable, which is an online learning platform. And we're also contacting clients where we had workshops scheduled to do those virtually. And we've really had to push and say, how can we make this interesting and interactive? And really learn from experts on that. So for instance, one of my favorite people who's like a mentor, I don't think he even knows he is Pat Flynn. He's really good at how to do all of this online. And then even Ayman, actually, I think he wouldn't say this about himself, but he's pretty well known at the George Washington University for teaching online. So I'm going to spy on his classes, right? So don't just do it by yourself, learn from other people. It makes it faster and more fun to do the pivot. That's how we're planning. And we're, as you know, some of the other panelists were saying, just be flexible.
Yes, thank you. Who will answer next for the same question? How will you plan for your business planning for the next year during this pandemic when you don't know what to expect? Jonas, you can answer this.
I'm thinking about to move my strategy because I've been I work with friends in Brazil, but I'm thinking about to move to open to other markets, for example, in order to, I don't know, to have more business opportunities. I'm just thinking about it, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure.
Okay. Maria, can you continue?
Yes, I think for For me, business planning is still on, but I think it will be less ambitious if we don't have if we don't have pandemic. So our priority is now, as long as we can pay our employee, that's already enough. So and in terms of planning, we just we still make plans for next year, but we at the back of our head, we bold and underline that things might change. So we have to just wait and see, adaptive to whatever may come. But I think planning is, we still have to plan for next year.
Thank you, Mbak Ria.